Hi, I'm Angela Ryder, and I wanted to share the practice that I use most to get very specific guidance from my spirit team. And it's what I call a spirit team meeting. And I first started doing this about maybe 12, 14 years ago. And it started out as me trying to get like automatic writing. And what I found was I would sit there and all of a sudden I would have an idea about something and it would just come through and I would start writing. And I wasn't expecting guidance to come in that way. I was just fooling around with automatic writing and seeing if I could channel something. I didn't know what I was doing, and fortunately, because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, it allowed me the serendipitous realization of being able to channel guidance in a written format. And I have to apologize ahead of time. I know I have several people who are much younger than me, and they probably don't do a lot of cursive writing, and they do mostly note taking on their computers or voice memos. And this may work the same way, being able to type out the written guidance and channeling a message from your team. But in my experience, having an old school notebook, and even if you're printing, writing the guidance out, there is something in the transmission that comes through the body and not interface between an electronic. That there is a difference, but maybe I'm just wired old fashioned and it just happens best that way for me. But I'm inviting you, anyone who wants to try this practice on how to have a spirit team meeting, to start with a piece of paper or a cheap notebook, real easy to use flowing pen. I love my G2 pen. And so a G2 pen or a pencil or a writing utensil and some quiet space to allow yourself to receive guidance. So I know in theory this sounds like it might be really hard to do, and I would say the first couple times it might feel really awkward or you don't know if you're getting guidance. But if you keep showing up to have a team meeting, the best way to do it is to do it with an intention. So you can light a candle, you can smudge the room, you can do any ritual that feels like you're in a space to receive. But I find just creating some time alone where you won't be interrupted and getting a notebook and then just the invocation of hand on heart and say, okay, I call my higher self consciousness and my spirit team, and I am asking for specific guidance on, and name your topic. And I would say it's not as useful to ask for general guidance, saying, what should I know about? I think it's helpful when you're honing your intuition to ask for something specific, because then you are tuning yourself in to receive guidance about a specific topic. And in that intentional request, you have asked your spirit team for guidance, support, and a response directly for that. And that helps kind of keep you in the guardrails, so to speak, as you're learning to do a spirit team meeting, to have a collaboration here. It's a way to allow yourself to set up the team meeting and get specific guidance and allowing it to flow through. And it's not like you're asking a being, like you're stepping out and somebody's stepping in. It's allowing the guidance from your higher self and your spirit team to flow through you and out the channel of your pen. And so in the act of doing that, you're still in charge. They're not taking over you. You're inviting the conduit, the channel, the space within you to receive that guidance and allow it to flow out the pen. So here is a setup, calling on your higher self-consciousness, asking for help, and then just start writing. One of the things I also want to have a caveat is ask about things that are personal for you. Don't get into somebody else's personal business. Your spirit team meetings should be what you are needing help with. And definitely for the practice, continue to ask for the guidance on how you need to receive it. Later, you can get a little fancier and you can ask how you can best support another person, or what is it in your best interest to know about a relationship. But spiritual etiquette is you are not asking about the deets and the tea to be spilled on somebody else's spiritual or their life. That's not what we're doing here. So we're setting up the team meeting for your information and your guidance. Okay, so make the question about you and not somebody else, and then write that question out on a piece of paper. It's like, okay, this is what I'm requesting guidance for, and then just start writing. And sometimes if you're having a hard time starting, it's where you're stuck in your head, and maybe what you can do is just start writing anyway. You can start with that I don't know, I'm not getting anything, I don't know what's going on here, this feels weird, is anybody there, hello? Just trust that your team is with you, and you are just tuning yourself in to allowing things to flow. Maybe you'll just get the grocery list. Maybe you'll just get some blah, 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 blah things at first. Let that be okay. I would say it might also be helpful if you did this for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Because those first 5 minutes will probably be a lot of clearing out your mind chatter and allowing yourself to start to flow. And regardless of what your mind thinks about what you wrote, at the end, just thank yourself for showing up, thank your team for being there, and trust that you got something, even if it was just you were practicing showing up. And sometimes that consistency is what actually starts the flow of your mind knowing that, oh, I'm not required here at this moment, and it can get used to stepping aside and allowing your higher self and guides to bring you information and writing it down. And one of the things that I found is most times, even now, most times the guidance that comes through can be really simple and practical, and it's what is exactly needed to take that next step, or just to affirm, yeah, you've been thinking about this for a long time, and the guidance is just like, do it. Maybe do it, try it, or usually the guidance is, okay, let's break this down. What is the next step to explore in order to get the information that you feel you need in order to take the next step? Now, one of the things is when we receive guidance and invitation to do something, we get to choose whether or not we can do it. But one of the things that might keep us from receiving guidance is a fear or a conditioning thought that we have to be certain that we're getting true guidance. We have to be certain that if we receive this guidance, it's in our highest and best interest. And that we don't do well with not knowing if we take the guidance, how things are going to turn out. And so with that uncertainty, just be aware that that's part of the conditioning that you're going to be clearing out your first 10, 20 times of doing this. You might still be sitting down with the conditioning of, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't think I'm doing it right. I don't know if I can trust that what's coming through is for my own guidance. So there's a lot of that energy and thoughts and conditioning that this practice, if you keep a notebook of things, you can see over time how you get into the channel much quicker of being able to receive and write things down. And over time, you'll get to say, oh, I understand how my team is trying to get me past these needs to understand why and what's coming through, and just allow it to come through, and just allow yourself the experience of channeling written guidance, because it comes in a way that the evidence afterwards is tangible. It's readable. You see it right there. It's a little bit different than, asking for guidance with your hand on your heart and looking for it outward in your day to be guided. The written guidance is a focal point of capturing that guidance in a flow state of receiving. And through the written guidance, having a spirit team meeting, asking for specific information, even if your mind is telling you, oh, I'm just imagining it, so what? So what? So what? Imagine that you are giving yourself the perfect guidance that you need to hear, and that if you had been, able to articulate it any other way, this is what would have come through for you. And so it doesn't really matter if your mind thinks you're making it up. You are receiving guidance that's supportive, that is helping you clear your channel to receive and connect to your higher self-consciousness and your spirit team in a way that allows flow 24/7, whether you're at the page or hand on heart or throughout the day. You're noticing, you're receiving, you are honing and attuning your channel to receive guidance in all different ways. And even while you're sleeping, you would be able to understand that when you wake up in the morning, there was guidance that came in your dreams. There was codes and upgrades that happened that helped you shift your perspective so that you can move through your day with more confidence. There are all the ways that having specific practices that help you in different ways adjust that lens, adjust that focus to more clarity, to be able to tune in and to perceive the guidance and the next steps and information that is always coming in. But just be aware that if your mind is running the show, then the guidance will sound judgy, preachy, tell you that you should do something or how you're doing things wrong, and your intuition will be, notice how when you feel this way, it's time for you to go for a walk, or it's time for you to breathe, or they're just gentle suggestions, invitations, and that's how it's going to show up at first. The longer you do this, the more it can turn into like a 45-minute session or an hour of a detailed plan about your business or how you need to change your life. And it will say, okay, here's the complete download. But what we're talking today is how to do a simple team meeting that allows you to access guidance in a way that is specifically to circumvent the blah, 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 blah of your mind and allow you to get tangible written guidance that you can go back and refer to understand how you've grown, how you've tuned yourself over and over again, and being able to use it on a regular basis to help support yourself. And it's one of the tools I use all the time. I use it in the morning as part of my dream journaling practice to ask for guidance on, all of these things that I saw in my dream. And if they weren't really clear, I asked my team, specifically my dream team, my dream spirit team, tell me about this dream. What is it that I need to know about it? How does it help me? What steps do I need to do next regarding this? What do I need to know about this? And so there are all kinds of ways that you can use a spirit team meeting, but just start out with a simple practice. And this will help inform you on how you receive guidance. You will notice your teams speak a certain way or have a certain cadence, or I've noticed that my spirit team likes to print. So that's weird because I always write in cursive, but when my spirit team is coming through, they print. So that was interesting. I did spirit team meetings for 10 years before I saw that it was coming through as printing. I can't explain, but why I didn't notice that before. But yeah, you'll notice that maybe your handwriting shifts and changes as a way for you to notice that you're receiving guidance. Be open to receive. You get what you get, and then keep coming back to the page and allowing yourself to use this type of practice as a simple way to receive guidance in a format that's like 10 or 15 minutes. And it's a way that you can write your way out of where you're stuck, where your mind keeps going over the same things. And so this is an actual way to use your hand and your intuition to allow your spirit team to move your mind aside and allow what wants to come to and through and for you to show up on the page. And I would love to hear how this practice sets with you and what you found works for you. And don't be afraid to adapt it on how it works for you different times a day. But those simple things, set a timer, set aside some private time, put your intention that you would like guidance about a specific thing, open your book, write out, spirit team, I would like guidance on, and then ask for it. Start your timer and start writing, and just allow yourself to receive. And then if you don't have time to read it then, read it back later. Sometimes read it a couple days later, and you may see how just that practice of it, more information comes in as you go about your day, because you took that time to set and receive, and it calibrated the channel to make you more attuned on noticing and receiving guidance throughout the day and over the days afterward. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this helps you, and I hope it's another way that you can use to be your own self-authority, your own spiritual authority, working with your higher self and spirit team.